Ladies and gentlemen, what if the moment you've been afraid of your entire life is actually the moment that will change everything? What if walking alone isn't a sign that you've been abandoned, but a sign that you're finally becoming the person you were meant to be? Think about that for a moment. So many people spend years waiting for support, waiting for permission, waiting for encouragement, waiting for someone to believe in them before they believe in themselves. And while they wait, life quietly moves forward. Dreams remain unfinished. Potential stays hidden. The opportunities that once stood in front of them slowly disappear. But those who transform their lives discover one powerful truth. There comes a season when no one can walk your path except you. No one can think your thoughts. No one can make your decisions. No one can build your future. There are roads in life that only one person can travel, and that person is you. Ladies and gentlemen, from childhood, we are taught to seek approval. We celebrate praise. We fear criticism. We become comfortable when everyone agrees with us. Without realizing it, we begin measuring our worth by the opinions of other people. But approval is temporary. The moment you depend on it, you give away your freedom, because someone else's opinion becomes more powerful than your own inner voice. The strongest people are not those who never receive criticism. They are those who continue moving even when criticism appears. Imagine climbing a mountain. At the base, many people surround you. They cheer, they encourage, they offer advice. But the higher you climb, the fewer people remain. Eventually, there comes a point where only you can take the next step. That is not punishment. That is growth. The higher your purpose, the quieter the path often becomes. Ladies and gentlemen, being alone and feeling lonely are not the same thing. Loneliness says you have lost connection. Solitude says you have found yourself. Some of life's greatest discoveries happen in silence. When there is no noise, no comparison, no pressure to impress, you finally begin listening to your own heart. How many dreams have you ignored because they didn't match someone else's expectations? How many ideas have you abandoned because people laughed? How many opportunities have you missed because you were waiting for approval that never came? Imagine if every great inventor, artist, entrepreneur, or leader had stopped because others doubted them. History would look very different. Progress belongs to those who keep walking when others stop believing. Ladies and gentlemen, one of the greatest enemies of progress is comparison. Today, it has become easier than ever to compare your life to someone else's. You compare your success, your appearance, your income, your journey. But comparison creates an illusion. You are comparing your behind-the-scenes reality with someone else's highlight reel. No two journeys are meant to look the same. A seed does not become a tree overnight. A river does not reach the ocean in a single day. Everything meaningful grows with patience. Trust your pace. Trust your process. Trust your purpose. One of the greatest gifts of walking alone is that you begin to trust yourself. At first, it feels uncomfortable. You question every decision. You wonder if you're making mistakes. But something remarkable begins to happen. Each challenge you overcome builds confidence. Each promise you keep to yourself builds self-respect. Each difficult day you survive builds resilience. Slowly, you stop asking, what does everyone else think? And you begin asking, what do I know to be true? That question changes your life. Ladies and gentlemen, every successful person has experienced seasons when no one understood their vision. There were moments when their dreams seemed impossible. Moments when support disappeared. Moments when failure looked certain. But they continued, not because they had guarantees, but because they had belief. Belief is often born in solitude. When no one else believes in you, you have an opportunity to become your own greatest supporter. That is where real confidence begins. Confidence is not created by applause. It is created by promises you keep to yourself. Every morning you choose discipline over excuses. Every evening you refuse to quit. Every obstacle you face without giving up. These moments become invisible victories. The world may never see them, but they shape the person you become. Ladies and gentlemen, there is another lesson hidden in solitude. It teaches you to protect your peace. Not every argument deserves your attention. Not every opinion deserves your energy. Not every invitation deserves your time. When you value your purpose, you become careful about where your attention goes. Your energy is precious. Spend it on growth. Spend it on learning. Spend it on creating. Spend it on becoming. The more focused you become, the less distracted you become by noise. Imagine an eagle soaring high above the mountains. It does not waste energy arguing with every bird below. It simply continues flying. There is wisdom in that. Sometimes the greatest response is continued progress. Let your results speak louder than your explanations. Ladies and gentlemen, there will be moments when fear whispers, "What if I fail?" Ask yourself a better question. What if I succeed? What if this lonely season is preparing me for something extraordinary? What if the difficulties I face today become the source of my greatest strength tomorrow? Every challenge carries hidden potential. Pressure creates diamonds. Storms strengthen trees. Resistance builds muscles. Perhaps the very struggle you wish would disappear is shaping the character you will one day be grateful for. Do not run from the process. Grow through it. Ladies and gentlemen, remember that success is not measured only by achievements. True success is becoming someone who no longer depends on external approval. Someone who can remain peaceful in uncertainty. Someone who can continue despite fear. Someone who honors their values even when no one is watching. That is real strength. That is real freedom. Imagine looking back 10 years from now. Will you be proud that you waited for perfect conditions? Or will you be grateful that you started before you felt ready? Life rewards action, not endless preparation, not constant hesitation. One courageous step often changes everything. The first step may be taken alone, but it leads to places that fear could never reach. Ladies and gentlemen, if there is one message I hope remains with you long after today, it is this: do not fear walking alone. Fear living someone else's life. Fear ignoring your purpose. Fear reaching the end of your journey, wondering what might have happened if you had trusted yourself. Because every meaningful dream requires courage. Every meaningful journey requires faith. And every extraordinary life requires moments when you choose your purpose over your comfort. So when the road becomes quiet, keep walking. When no one applauds, keep working. When others doubt you, keep believing. When fear appears, keep moving, because the path you walk alone today is quietly building the strength, wisdom, resilience, and confidence that no one can ever take away from you. One day, people may admire your success. They may see your achievements. They may call you fortunate. They may wonder how you became so strong. They will see the destination. But only you will remember the lonely mornings, the difficult nights, the silent sacrifices, and the countless moments when you chose to continue without applause. Those unseen moments are what truly create greatness. Remember this timeless truth: you never discover how powerful you are until you stop waiting for someone else to carry your future. Trust yourself. Honor your purpose. Walk your path with courage. And if necessary, do it alone. Thank you.